Liberty Media, who owns F1 right now, they completed the sale of that in 2017. They actually just purchased MotoGP. That happened in July 2025. It's only just completed. What are the top 3 things that F1 can take from MotoGP to improve itself now that it has a new stablemate in MotoGP? My name's Tim. I'm here from Ride Along Trackside. Now, we all know that Drive to Survive has been a huge success on Netflix. For F1, popularity is booming globally. Everyone that I know knows about F1 right now, but not everyone that I know knows about MotoGP right now. From the start of the 2026 season, we're going to be seeing what their impact will be on the MotoGP field. This kicks off a really interesting moment in motorsport racing across both 4 wheels and 2-wheel racing. Liberty Media have done such a good job with F1. We're really excited to find out what they're going to do with MotoGP. Let's dive straight in. The top 3 things that F1 can take from MotoGP. Number 1, maybe the easiest one to implement, more sprint races. F1 already started using sprint races, that format, in 2021. They started with 3 races during that season. They started at Silverstone, at Monza, and Interlagos. There was varying success over the time period, and it has grown. There's now 6 races in each calendar year for the F1 season. It gets mixed reviews from the races, but we know that it's really exciting. Everybody loves to watch it. Yes, it's a shorter race, but there's not really a lot that comes in terms of waiting for the drivers from those races. They don't earn a lot of points from it. They feel like a distraction from the main race. Whereas MotoGP committed to sprint racing from the beginning. From the first race in 2023, they committed to have sprint races at each one of the MotoGP weekends. So they have a sprint race that happens on Saturday, every single race weekend. That sprint race is half distance. The sprint winner on MotoGP weekends receives about half the amount of points that they do from their main race, versus F1, where they only receive about 1/3 of the same points as the main race weekend. The sprint races really matter in MotoGP. In fact, in 2024, Jorge Martin clinched the world championship from Francisco Bagnaia, because he won more sprint races over that season. Bagnaia actually won more of the main races versus Martin, but because he won those extra points on the Saturday, it made the difference and he ended up winning the world championship. So F1 could expand their format. They could do it every single weekend. Maybe every single weekend is too much, but they could go all in. They could add more points to those sprint weekends. It's a shorter format. There's more exciting racing happenings and the fans love it. The second point that I think is probably the most important is better overtaking. Overtaking is the essence of motorsport. It's the most exciting part. There are a bunch of overtakes in F1, especially back further in the field. However, a lot of those are facilitated by DRS. And DRS, while it's great as a boost button, is that real racing? We want to see the driver's skill that's involved. In MotoGP, all of the overtaking is produced by rider skill. How much can you outbrake your opponent? How much can you outmaneuver your opponent? Can you hold the perfect line and not crash? Watching an F1 car race down the track at 300 kilometers an hour or more, and then braking suddenly to 80 kilometers an hour, taking a turn, that is thrilling to watch. But imagine 4 or 5 motorbikes at the same time, coming as close as you can, shoulder to shoulder, trying to outbrake each other when they come into a hairpin to try and get in front. There's so much overtaking done in corners in MotoGP versus the straights due to rider skill. Imagine a shoulder on the ground. That's how you can get in front of someone. I would love to see more of that close racing in F1. So F1 could make regulation changes that would allow for closer racing. Maybe the cars could be smaller. Maybe they could be thinner. That would make it easier for them to overtake. Bring it closer together, make it more exciting. That's something that F1 can learn from MotoGP. Thirdly, a dynamic cost cap is something that would make a massive difference. F1 does have a cost cap at the moment, but everyone has the same amount of money to be spent each year. So if I have a better car this year, I'm going to keep that advantage for next year. If I'm coming last and I have the same amount of money as the person coming first, how could I possibly catch up? And that means that there will be single manufacturer dominance year in year or race on race, as you see very often in F1. MotoGP does have those eras of dominance as well, but they have a concession cap limit. And what that actually means is that for the top manufacturers, they have less that they can do within a year. And the manufacturers that are currently struggling for that year, there's more that they can do within that year. As an example, Ducati have been dominant for a while. They're classified as Group A. Group A have a limit of 8 engines per year that they can use throughout that year, and they can't work on it. They also have a limit of how many tires they can use. But if you look at Yamaha, who are ranked D, they can do a lot more throughout the season. They get 10 engines. For the races throughout the year, they get 6 wildcards. What that means is that they can put a test rider in a race 6 times a year to test out that engine development that they've been working on. They're also allowed to work on those engines. They can make significant changes to the engines that they have right now. They get more tires to test with. They can make more aero upgrades. The idea is that if you're struggling for competitiveness, let's give you more of an opportunity to improve, to bring all the bikes back into the center of the pack, make everyone more broadly competitive. So this is something that F1 could think about, which is allow teams that are struggling for competitiveness, give them maybe a high cost cap, or some other changes that allows them to catch up to make the racing more tighter. And there you have it. The top 3 ways that MotoGP can influence F1. We want to see more sprint races, better overtaking, and a dynamic cost limit. What did I miss? Tell me in the comments, and we can review that in a future video. And if you like this video, please remember to subscribe below.